recently finished my arc read of The Wastelander by E.S. Luck. It's a post-apocalyptic romance and is the first in a series focusing on Claire Ainsley and John Madigan. It will be releasing on June 30th, so I'm a bit early in the game, but I wanted to leave my review here anyway. So, Claire has never known anything outside life inside of a compound, which, as the virus took over and the population got decimated, there were a lucky few who got to live in a protected community, surrounded by walls, not really having to worry about finding food or water or even the dangers outside. They were protected, they were a chosen few, it was inside of a compound, and that was all they ever knew. They did have the knowledge on what happened before with the virus, what happened outside, the wasteland, the Wastelanders, the dangers, and all of that. So that was kept alive inside of that compound just so the people knew what happened and what was going on. But when there is an attack inside of the compound and Claire is forced to go outside to survive on her own, she gets to see ways she gets to experience ways she never had to before. She has to survive. She never had to. And the wasteland shows her the harsh reality. But it also shows her beauty she didn't know existed. So for the first part of the book, the first part had me feeling a bit disappointed, I think is the right word, because of the writing style, which was rather simplistic, and I didn't get sucked into the story like usually happens when you're reading a book. But I'm not one to give up quickly, and luckily, because a bit further into the book, I got more and more invested. So, yeah. For the most part of the story, we get to see how Claire learns to navigate her new life. Basic survival skills, really. How to protect herself, how to find food, how to find water, and all those things. But it is a post-apocalyptic romance, and the romance starts happening with John, who is a Wastelander. She gets to see that Wastelanders aren't really what she was thought they were. And although the love interest isn't unlikable per se, I did find myself thinking quite a lot of times that communication is underrated in real life, but also in this book between John and Claire. Talk, people. Just talk. Share your worries, share your fears, your hopes. Just talk. Quite a lot of chapters that had me thinking that. But apart from that, even in the post-apocalyptic wasteland, there is room for quite a lot of spice. I like dystopian post-apocalyptic stories, but a post-apocalyptic romance with a heavy sprinkle of spice and let's call it smut, was a first for me. And the smut was, look, I'm not opposed to smut. I like reading smut stories, but this smut was a different kind of the smut I used to reading. Not to say that I disliked it. It was a nice addition to the story. So, yeah. The plot is interesting, and there is quite a bit of action between the sheets in the forest, but also action as in fighting, struggles between the main characters and other things. But it also focuses a lot on Claire learning how to not be a burden, how to, just do things herself and not depend on other people. But it is nice to see Claire starting from, I'm never going to be able to do this, it's never going to go the way it should go, to seeing her evolve to something like, I might be able to do this, and there might be light in the far future and everything might be okay eventually, and I might be able to survive and to conquer these struggles, really. Yeah. And then the world building was good, as far as world building in the post-apocalyptic wasteland and a compound goes, but it was described really nicely, and you could see yourself being there in nature and all those things. And then the characters were appealing, not unimportant. But all in all, Wastelander was a gripping and fun read for me, and despite the rough start, it did keep me engaged throughout and wanting to know what would happen next. The book ends in a cliffhanger, and I'm quite curious to see how this story will continue. And then last but not least, a big thank you to E.S. Luck for giving me the opportunity of reading this arc. And as an arc reader, my opinions are my own and my review is voluntarily. Let me know in the comments below if you like dystopian and post-apocalyptic stories, if you like them with a touch of smut, or rather without, or maybe if you like any other genres of books. I'm open to anything, and I would like to know what your favorite books are. But for now, thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next review.